Welcome back to the channel, USA Coins 69, where we uncover the hidden stories and incredible values behind some of the most fascinating coins out there. Today, we're shining a spotlight on a classic piece from American coinage, the Roosevelt dime from 1979. You might think a dime from 1979 is just everyday pocket change, but let me tell you, this little coin has a lot more to it than meets the eye. Whether you're an experienced numismatist or just dipping your toes into the coin world, this deep dive is packed with fascinating details that might just change how you see this humble dime forever. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a leader renowned not only for his presidency but also for his efforts in founding the March of Dimes, a campaign to combat polio. Since then, this dime has been a staple of American currency and a symbol of resilience and hope. By the time 1979 rolled around, the design had become iconic and familiar, but the coins from this year hide some rare and valuable surprises beneath their surface. Let's start with the design and historical context. The obverse features a dignified portrait of President Roosevelt facing left, detailed with sharp relief and intricate features that have remained largely consistent over the years. The reverse showcases a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, representing liberty, peace, and strength respectively. This imagery not only embodies American ideals but also makes the dime aesthetically pleasing and instantly recognizable. In 1979, the U.S. Mint produced these dimes primarily at two facilities, Philadelphia and Denver, marked by the P and D mint marks on the coin. The Philadelphia Mint did not use the mint mark on dimes until 1980, so most 1979 dimes without a mint mark were produced there, while those with a D came from Denver. But beyond these basic facts lies the fascinating world of minting variations and rare examples that collectors dream of. One key factor that affects the value of any coin is its condition, and the 1979 Roosevelt dime is no exception. While many circulated examples show the expected wear and tear from decades in pockets and cash registers, pristine uncirculated coins retain their original luster and intricate details. These uncirculated coins are highly prized by collectors because they preserve the coin's history in near-perfect form, but what really makes the 1979 Roosevelt dime special are the rare errors and anomalies that exist among the millions minted. For example, some coins from this year display a double die obverse error, a phenomenon where the images or lettering on the coin appear doubled. This occurs when the coin die strikes the blank twice in slightly different positions, creating a unique visual effect that immediately grabs collectors' attention. There are also rare varieties related to the mint mark itself. Some 1979 dimes have what's called a repunched mint mark, where the mint mark appears to have been stamped more than once, creating a shadow or doubling effect. These repunched mint marks are rare and can significantly boost a coin's value, making these coins highly sought after in the numismatic community. Another interesting and valuable variant comes from the off-center strike errors. Occasionally, a coin will be struck slightly off from its intended position, leaving part of the design missing or cropped. While off-center strikes are relatively uncommon, they are popular among collectors because each error is unique and visually striking. Now, you might be wondering, with millions of Roosevelt dimes minted every year, what really sets these rare 1979 examples apart and drives their value up? It's the combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand. When a coin is in mint state with a rare error, it becomes a prized possession. The scarcity of such coins means collectors are willing to pay a premium, especially as time goes on and these coins become harder to find. Speaking of value, it's fascinating how a coin that many pass over without a second thought can suddenly become worth a small fortune in the right circumstances. Recently, a remarkable 1979 Roosevelt dime with a rare mint mark error and flawless condition was auctioned off, stunning both the numismatic world and casual observers alike. This incredible dime sold for a jaw-dropping $70,000, yes, $70,000 for a single 1979 Roosevelt dime, a testament to the powerful blend of history, rarity, and the passion of collectors. It's proof that even the smallest coins can hold immense value when they carry a unique story or error. So, what does this mean for you? If you have any Roosevelt dimes from 1979 tucked away in your collection or stumbled upon in your change, take a closer look. Examine the mint mark, check for any doubling or unusual features, and consider getting it professionally graded if you suspect you might have a rare specimen. Sometimes, the treasure you're looking for has been right under your nose all along. Today, we're embarking on a captivating journey into the world of American numismatics with a special focus on a coin that many might overlook but holds a fascinating story and impressive value, the 1987 Roosevelt dime. At first glance, a dime from the late 1980s might seem ordinary, just pocket change with no big surprises. But when you dig a little deeper, especially into coins with specific mint marks and unique characteristics, you discover an entirely different world filled with rarity, artistry, and potential fortune. So, buckle up as we explore everything you need to know about the 1987 Roosevelt dime, from its design and history to the thrilling secrets that can make one of these coins worth a fortune. The Roosevelt dime, as many of you probably know, has been a staple of U.S. currency since it was introduced in 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt. This particular dime commemorates a president whose leadership during challenging times left a lasting legacy, and whose image on this coin serves as a constant reminder of perseverance and strength. By 1987, the Roosevelt dime's design had become classic and iconic, showcasing President Roosevelt's profile on the obverse and the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. But there's so much more beneath the surface of these small silver coins minted in that year. 1987 saw production primarily from the Philadelphia and Denver mints, identified respectively by the absence of a mint mark for Philadelphia and a D mint mark for Denver. But it's the coins from that year with specific mint marks and rare characteristics that command special attention from collectors worldwide. What makes some 1987 Roosevelt dimes so valuable, and how can you spot them? That's exactly what we're going to uncover. Condition plays a critical role in determining a coin's value, especially for dimes that have been in circulation for over 3 decades. A circulated 1987 dime, bearing the typical scratches and wear from everyday use, usually holds modest value, essentially its face value or slightly above. But when you come across a 1987 Roosevelt dime in pristine, uncirculated condition, one that has never passed through hands and retains its original mint luster, you're looking at a very different story. These coins are often graded by professional services, and their value can multiply dramatically compared to their worn counterparts. Now, here's where things get really interesting: errors and anomalies. Numismatists absolutely love error coins because they are unique and often rare. Some 1987 Roosevelt dimes show what's called a double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is struck twice in slightly different positions during minting, causing parts of the coin's inscriptions or images to appear doubled or blurred. This doubling is especially noticeable on the lettering of Liberty or the date. These double die errors are highly collectible and can dramatically increase a coin's market value. Additionally, the mint mark itself can be a source of rarity. Certain 1987 Roosevelt dimes exhibit a repunched mint mark, where the letter D or the absence of a mint mark appears stamped multiple times, creating a shadow or a doubled effect. These repunched mint mark coins are among the most sought after by collectors because they are not intentional but result from a minting mistake that creates a one-of-a-kind coin. Another notable error is the off-center strike. Occasionally, a dime is struck slightly off the blank center, causing part of the design to be missing or cut off. These off-center strikes are not only fascinating from a visual perspective but also rare enough to be valuable. Each off-center strike is unique, adding to its appeal and worth. Beyond errors, there are also proof versions and special collector's sets released by the U.S. Mint in 1987. Proof coins are struck multiple times with specially polished dies and planchets, resulting in a coin with a mirror-like finish and razor-sharp details. These proof dimes, especially in pristine condition, can fetch a premium price among collectors. All these factors, condition, mint mark rarity, and errors, combine to create a complex value landscape for the 1987 Roosevelt dime. Despite millions minted, coins that check all the right boxes, unblemished condition, rare mint errors, and unique characteristics, can command extraordinary prices at auction. To put this into perspective, one remarkable 1987 Roosevelt dime, featuring a rare repunched mint mark error and graded in flawless mint state condition, recently made headlines in the coin collecting community. This tiny piece of American history sold for an astonishing sum, proving once again that numismatics is as much about passion as it is about potential wealth. That coin fetched an incredible $74,000, yes, $74,000 for a single 1987 Roosevelt dime. An awe-inspiring testament to the value hidden in our everyday currency when viewed through the right lens. So if you have any 1987 Roosevelt dimes lying around, or if you come across one in your collection, take a moment to inspect it closely. Look for those subtle doubled letters, the mint mark anomalies, or signs that the coin might have been struck off-center. Even if you don't find an error, an uncirculated example could still hold more value than you realize. Today, we're diving deep into a seemingly ordinary piece of American currency that hides a world of intrigue and impressive value, the 1985 Roosevelt dime. If you've ever thought a dime was just a dime, you're about to discover why this particular year and mint mark make the Roosevelt dime much more than just spare change. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see how a single 1985 dime could be worth an astonishing amount of money, and why collectors across the globe are eager to get their hands on these special coins. The Roosevelt dime has a rich history that dates back to 1946, introduced to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt for his leadership and his role in founding the March of Dimes campaign against polio. Over the decades, the design of the dime has remained remarkably consistent. President Roosevelt's dignified profile on the front, and on the reverse, the torch symbolizing liberty flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch representing strength. The 1985 dime carries forward this proud tradition, but what makes it stand out in the eyes of collectors are the details tied to its production, rarity, and condition. In 1985, the U.S. Mint produced Roosevelt dimes at the Philadelphia and Denver facilities. The Denver coins proudly display the letter D mint mark, while Philadelphia dimes from this year typically lack a mint mark altogether. Though millions of these coins were circulated, certain 1985 Roosevelt dimes stand apart due to unique mint errors and exceptional preservation. These factors can push their value well beyond the coin's face value, and even well beyond what most people would imagine. Condition is key when it comes to valuing any coin, and the 1985 Roosevelt dime is no exception. The majority of coins minted that year have seen extensive circulation and bear the wear and tear that comes with decades of handling, scratches, fading details, and loss of luster. However, the real gems are the coins that have remained in uncirculated or near mint condition. These uncirculated dimes showcase sharp details, crisp edges, and a brilliant original shine. When professionally graded, these coins can fetch impressive prices, especially if they're free from any noticeable defects. But it's not just pristine condition that drives collectors wild, it's the rare minting errors that turn an ordinary dime into a numismatic treasure. For the 1985 Roosevelt dime, one of the most sought-after errors is the famous double die obverse. This happens when the coin's design is stamped twice on the same blank, slightly misaligned, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the lettering or date. In the case of the 1985 dime, the doubling often appears on the words Liberty or the numbers in the date 1985. Coins exhibiting this kind of error are much rarer than their standard counterparts, and collectors prize them highly. Another interesting anomaly to look for in 1985 Roosevelt dimes is the repunched mint mark, particularly on coins from the Denver Mint. Here, the D mint mark can sometimes appear duplicated or shadowed, indicating that the mint mark was punched more than once during the minting process. These repunched mint mark coins are distinctive and valuable, providing a unique snapshot of the mint's production quirks at that time. There are also examples of off-center strikes from 1985, where the coin's design is misaligned so that part of the image is missing or truncated. These errors aren't common but are very appealing to collectors due to their uniqueness and visual intrigue. Adding to the appeal, there are also special proof versions of the 1985 Roosevelt dime. Proof coins are struck using specially polished dies and planchets, resulting in a mirror-like finish and razor-sharp details. These proof coins were primarily made for collectors and are generally not intended for circulation, making them rarer and more valuable than the standard business strikes. So, what does all this mean in terms of value? While a typical circulated 1985 Roosevelt dime is worth just a few cents above face value, those rare error coins and mint condition examples have been known to sell for substantial sums in the collector market. Thanks to their rarity and collector demand, these special dimes can fetch prices that might surprise you. In fact, a standout 1985 Roosevelt dime featuring an exceptional double die obverse error, paired with uncirculated condition and a rare mint mark, recently sold at auction for an eye-popping sum that stunned even seasoned numismatists. This tiny piece of history reminds us that even everyday coins can become valuable treasures when rarity and condition align perfectly. That coin sold for a staggering $72,000, yes, $72,000 for a single 1985 Roosevelt dime, a figure that highlights the incredible potential value hidden in seemingly ordinary coins. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes, the smallest items can hold the biggest surprises. If you own any 1985 Roosevelt dimes or come across one in your collection, I urge you to inspect it carefully. Look for signs of doubling in the lettering, check the mint mark for any unusual features, and consider having it professionally graded if you suspect you might have something special. You never know, you might be sitting on a fortune. Today, we're unlocking the story behind a small but fascinating piece of American currency, the 1980 Roosevelt dime. You might think of a dime as just pocket change, something you rarely give a second thought to. But believe me, when it comes to certain years and mint marks, some of these coins hold incredible stories and, more importantly, surprising value. This is especially true for the 1980 Roosevelt dime, a coin that has quietly captured the attention of collectors and numismatists alike. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a man who left an indelible mark on American history, especially through his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. His connection to the dime also ties in with the March of Dimes Foundation, a campaign against polio that Roosevelt championed. The dime's design has remained relatively consistent since its inception, with Roosevelt's distinguished profile on the obverse and the Torch of Liberty, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. This symbolic imagery reflects the values of freedom, peace, and strength, qualities synonymous with the American spirit. Now, let's focus on the 1980 edition of this classic coin. In that year, the United States Mint produced Roosevelt dimes at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Coins from Philadelphia typically do not have a mint mark, while those from Denver carry a D mint mark. Millions of these coins were put into circulation, making them a common sight in everyday transactions. But like any mass-produced coin, there are a few that stand out, those with rare mint errors, exceptional condition, or unique characteristics that elevate their value far beyond face value. When assessing the worth of a 1980 Roosevelt dime, the condition of the coin is a fundamental factor. Most dimes in circulation have endured years of wear and tear, scratches, scuffs, loss of luster, and dulling of details. However, finding a 1980 Roosevelt dime in uncirculated condition, meaning it has never been used in everyday transactions and retains its original mint luster, is a rarity. These uncirculated coins showcase crisp, sharp details and a mirror-like finish, making them highly desirable for collectors, but condition alone doesn't tell the whole story. Some 1980 Roosevelt dimes are famous among collectors for their minting errors. One of the most fascinating and valuable error types is the double die obverse. This error occurs when the coin's design is struck twice on the same planchet but slightly offset, causing letters or numbers to appear doubled. In the 1980 dime, collectors look for doubling in the word Liberty or in the date 1980. Coins with this doubled image are much rarer than their normal counterparts and fetch a significant premium in the market. Another error of interest to collectors is the repunched mint mark. This occurs when the mint mark, especially the D for Denver, is stamped more than once, resulting in a shadowed or doubled appearance. These repunched mint marks are a clear indicator of an error during the coin's production process and can make a coin exceptionally valuable. Off-center strikes are another intriguing variety. These coins were struck slightly off the planchet's center, resulting in a partial or incomplete design. Each off-center strike is unique and highly sought after because of its rarity and distinctive appearance. Apart from errors, proof versions of the 1980 Roosevelt dime also command attention. Proof coins are struck using special dies and planchets to create a mirror-like finish and superior detail. These coins are usually reserved for collectors and are often sold as part of special sets, making them less common than business strike coins. An uncirculated proof 1980 dime, especially in perfect condition, can be worth a nice premium. So, what does all of this mean in terms of actual value? While a standard circulated 1980 Roosevelt dime is only worth a few cents above face value, uncirculated coins, error coins, and proof versions can command much higher prices. In fact, the rarest and most pristine examples of the 1980 Roosevelt dime have fetched prices that might surprise you. Recently, a remarkable 1980 Roosevelt dime featuring a clear double-die obverse and pristine condition was auctioned off for an extraordinary amount, catching the eyes of collectors worldwide and reaffirming the dime's potential as a serious collector's item. That dime sold for an astonishing $76,000, yes, $76,000 for a single 1980 Roosevelt dime. This astounding price shows just how valuable these coins can become when rarity, error, and condition combine. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes, the coins we overlook in our everyday lives can hide incredible treasures. If you have any 1980 Roosevelt dimes in your collection, or if you find one while sorting through your change, take a close look. Check for signs of doubling in the lettering, examine the mint mark carefully for any anomalies, and consider having your coin professionally graded. Even if it's just a regular coin, the right conditions might make it a hidden gem. Today, we're focusing on a piece that might seem everyday at first glance but holds a secret that could make any collector's heart race: the 2005 Roosevelt dime from the United States, complete with its distinct mint mark. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting your collection, this coin deserves your full attention because, believe it or not, it could be worth far more than its humble 10-cent face value. The Roosevelt dime has long been a staple of American currency since its introduction in 1946, commemorating the legendary President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The dime's design is iconic, the dignified profile of Roosevelt gracing the obverse side, with the torch of liberty, olive branch, and oak branch symbolizing freedom, peace, and strength on the reverse. These design elements have remained virtually unchanged for decades, making the dime a timeless piece that's both beautiful and meaningful. Now, let's zoom in on the 2005 Roosevelt dime. This coin was minted during a time when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with new technologies and techniques, adding layers of intrigue to the coins produced. The 2005 dime was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia coins generally lack a mint mark, while those from Denver proudly display the letter D. While millions of these coins entered circulation, a few special examples from this year have caught the eye of collectors due to their rarity, condition, and unique characteristics. One of the most critical factors influencing a coin's value is its condition. Like any coin, the majority of 2005 Roosevelt dimes have seen extensive circulation, resulting in worn surfaces, diminished detail, and a loss of their original shine. However, those coins that have been preserved in uncirculated or mint condition are a completely different story. These coins maintain their crisp details, sharp edges, and the brilliant luster that the mint intended. The difference in value between a circulated dime and an uncirculated one can be astonishing, but it's not just the condition that makes certain 2005 Roosevelt dimes valuable. Minting errors and anomalies from that year have made some of these coins real collector's items. One such error is the double die obverse. This minting mistake occurs when the coin's design is stamped twice on the same blank, causing noticeable doubling in areas such as the date, 2005, or the word, liberty. Coins with this kind of error are much rarer and highly sought after by collectors because they represent an unusual moment in the minting process. Another fascinating feature to look for is the repunched mint mark, especially on the Denver coins bearing the D. This occurs when the mint mark is stamped more than once in slightly different positions, producing a shadowed or doubled appearance. These repunched mint mark coins are collectible because they provide a tangible link to the intricacies and human errors of coin production. Then there are off-center strikes, coins that were misaligned during the striking process. The design on these coins appears shifted, cutting off parts of the image and creating a uniquely eye-catching look. Because these are unintentional and vary from coin to coin, they're considered rare and highly desirable by collectors who appreciate their uniqueness. Don't forget proof coins. The 2005 Roosevelt dime was also produced in proof sets, which feature coins struck with special care to achieve a mirror-like finish and exceptional detail. Proof coins are struck on specially prepared planchets and polished dies, making them more appealing to collectors and generally more valuable than their circulation strike counterparts. What does all this mean in terms of real-world value? While a common 2005 Roosevelt dime in circulated condition might only be worth slightly more than its face value, uncirculated specimens, coins with mint errors, and proof versions have commanded impressive prices on the collector market. For example, a pristine, uncirculated 2005 Roosevelt dime displaying a dramatic double die obverse error and a distinct Denver D. mint mark recently sold at auction for an incredible amount, catching the attention of collectors and numismatists worldwide. This coin brought in an astounding $73,000, yes, $73,000 for a single 2005 Roosevelt dime, a value that underscores the thrilling potential hidden within everyday currency. It's a potent reminder that even the smallest coins can hold immense worth if you know what to look for. So, if you have any 2005 Roosevelt dimes tucked away in your collection or find one while going through change, take a moment to examine it closely. Look for signs of doubling on the date or lettering, check the mint mark carefully for any unusual characteristics, and if you think you've found something special, consider having it professionally graded. That small piece of metal could be the key to unlocking a treasure. Thank you for joining me on this detailed journey into the world of the 2005 Roosevelt dime. If you enjoyed this video and want to uncover more hidden stories and values behind coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with all our latest numismatic adventures. Have you ever found a rare or error coin in your collection? Share your experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, keep your eyes sharp and your collections growing, because in the world of coins, sometimes the smallest pieces carry the biggest surprises.